This video is going to be a little different. I've been sick all week and my voice is going in and out. I'm also going to be using generative AI to do the voiceovers, so let's get started.
Today's video begins in the Coachella Valley in the California desert. There was a mild earthquake last night. I think it was around a 3.0, so no damage, just some shaking. Anyway, I'm on my way to Palm Springs. My first stop is Desert Memorial Park, one of the cemeteries in Palm Springs. Two of the most well-known entertainers from Palm Springs are buried here. But first, let's do the intro.
Hey guys, Emily, welcome everyone. We're doing a loop through this part of California, starting and ending in Palm Springs. I'll be spending most of the day in and around Joshua Tree National Park, and I should have perfect weather, sunny and in the 70s. It'll be another busy day in the desert. Let's go.
Thankfully, the sections within this cemetery are well marked. The first celebrity I'm here to see is in section B8. For reference on how far the grave marker is from the road, there's the tree we just saw, and my car is not far from it. Swinging around, and I guess I should have parked on the other road, but here's the grave marker for Frank Sinatra. There's a little bit of controversy for this grave marker. Take a look at the epitaph. It reads, "Sleep warm, Papa." The controversy is the grave marker was replaced in 2021, and it's a mystery as to who or why the grave marker changed. He's buried next to his fourth and final wife, Barbara Sinatra, whom he married in 1976. Her grave marker has not been changed. It says she was a voice for children and a beloved wife, mother, and grandmother. On the left side of Frank Sinatra's grave is a golf ball, signifying Frank's love of golf. His grave marker has a small bottle of Jack Daniels and a cigarette. Apparently, Frank drank a bottle of Jack every day. Frank Sinatra has 3 children with Nancy Sinatra, Frank Jr., Tina, and Nancy. The children had a long-standing feud with Barbara Sinatra, which extended beyond when she passed away in 2017. In 2021, Frank's grave marker was changed to this epitaph, which is the same text in a note that Tina Sinatra placed in Frank's casket. The original marker's epitaph was "The best is yet to come" and "Beloved husband and father." But no one is admitting to the changes, and the cemetery manager won't say anything either. So the mystery continues, I guess. Now let's head to section B35, and there's another iconic Palm Springs celebrity buried in this cemetery. Once again, for reference, see where I am parked, and I walked past maybe 20 grave markers. Swinging around, and I'm at the grave marker of Sonny Bono, a famous musician from the 60s and 70s. His grave marker shows his signature and his epitaph reads, and the beat goes on, a title of a 1967 song he sang with his former wife Cher. Sonny and Cher were popular for their #1 hit, "I Got You Babe." But in the 80s and 90s, Bono was a politician, and he served first as mayor of Palm Springs and then as a U.S. congressman until his untimely death from a skiing accident in 1998. He collided with a tree, which ultimately killed him. You may want to Google the beautiful eulogy that Cher delivered at Sonny's funeral. Sonny Bono still is the only person elected to Congress that had a #1 single on the Billboard pop charts. Sonny Bono is buried next to his mother, Jean Bono, who passed away 7 years after Sonny died. I like her epitaph, "Beloved mother of Sonny." I filmed this right after Christmas, and take a look at this section of the cemeteries. There are so many flowers and decorations. Some with full-sized Christmas trees. That's really incredible. don't you think? In October, I only saw the Forever Marilyn statue at night, but since my hotel last night was nearby, I get to see her during the day with the mountains behind her. Not too many people visiting her this morning, but I'm sure she'll get more visitors later. Here's the marker on the base of the Forever Marilyn statue, which was created by Seward Johnson. Forever Marilyn stands 26 feet tall and weighs 24,000 pounds. She's made with stainless steel and aluminum, and there was great care to make her look as realistic as possible. The sign mentioned there are 10 layers of hues with a matte finish. I mentioned back in October this statue is in homage to her iconic pose in the movie The 7-Year Itch. But there's a little bit of controversy with the statue. Behind me is the Palm Springs Art Museum. That museum is a well-respected institution of art. That has some people thinking the statue is, mooning the museum. Others feel Marilyn Monroe promotes outdated attitudes toward women. But even after 70 years, people are fascinated with Marilyn Monroe. As for me, I need some coffee, and there's a Starbucks about a block away. The Starbucks is located on Palm Canyon Drive, the main road leading through downtown Palm Springs. This road also has a Walk of Fame like in Hollywood. And here's Sonny Bono's star. It's interesting he's honored for stage, radio, film, and TV, but no mention of being mayor or congressman. It's called the Palm Springs Walk of Stars, where famous people that have lived in the Palm Springs area are honored. There are stars for 4 former U.S. presidents, actors, musicians, screenwriters, civic leaders, humanitarians, and Medal of Honor recipients. So I'll point out a few names along the Walk of Stars, and one I recognize is Liberace, known as Mr. Showmanship. He's near this bronze statue of Lucille Ball, sitting on this bench. She looks a little angry. This is actually a representation of her character, Lucy Ricardo, from the 50s TV series I Love Lucy. Emanuel and Janet Snitkovsky designed this statue in 1995. This is a great place to get a fun pic if you're a fan of Lucille Ball or the I Love Lucy TV show. But this statue is often called Scary Lucy because she looks angry and doesn't really resemble Lucille Ball. She's across the street from the Starbucks, and she's also next to the stars of Frank Sinatra and Barbara Sinatra. So there's lots of great photo opportunities at this intersection. Here's another star, this one for singer Dionne Warwick. Speaking of singers, here's one for Elvis Presley, my great-grandmother's favorite. Here's another singer, Wayne Newton, well known for his Las Vegas performances. Near those stars is the electrical box for the traffic light, painted with the famous I Love Lucy scene where she worked at the chocolate factory. Next to that traffic box is the star from Truman Capote. I visited his childhood home in Alabama. Here's another famous name, Marlene Dietrich, actress, singer, possibly a pro-US patriot during World War II. Over there is where the Lucy statue was, not too far away, and I was wondering when I'd find her star. This is Marilyn Monroe, noted for her film career. A very popular actress for maybe 10 years, until she took her own life in 1962. Another name you might know, Adam West, famous for his role as Batman in the 60s TV show. There are about 470 stars along the Palm Springs Walk of Stars. This one is interesting. Frank Sinatra Jr., I learned he was kidnapped, and his father paid a $240,000 ransom for him. This star is for Lena Horne, one of the first black performers signed to a Hollywood film studio. Here's Victoria Principal, star of the 80s TV show Dallas. I have a few more minutes, so let's see some stars and then another statue. Here's the star for Nancy Sinatra, one of Frank Sinatra's daughters. And this is for Mary Hart. You may remember her as an original host of Entertainment Tonight. And right here in front of the fountain is a bronze statue of Sonny Bono. He's in front of the Plaza Mercado, and I guess people rub his legs for good luck? Oh, check this out. Sonny Bono has a second star on the Walk of Stars. This one does note that he was a politician, as well as a songwriter, singer, and TV star. The statue was created by the same person that created the Lucille Ball statue. Alright, I've got a full day ahead of me, so let's head on out. See you tonight, Marilyn. I traveled north a few miles, close to the ramp to Interstate 10, and take a look at what that business has in there. I guess front yard. It's this Volkswagen Beetle that looks like a large spider. The Beetle is attached to 8 large spider legs. That's neat, but it's also a little scary looking. I've seen a couple of these VW Beetle spider creations in other parts of the country, but apparently this was once a VW repair shop, so that would make for some great advertising, right? Google Maps say this frontage street is the quickest way for where I need to go next, but I don't know. Guess I'll keep going. Meanwhile, take a look at all these wind turbines out here. I guess this is an area where they have a lot of wind. I guess the directions were correct, as that road led me to this 4-lane, which will lead me to my next stop. There are a large number of roadside attractions I have on my list of things to see. I'm in the city of Joshua Tree, just north of the national park with the same name, and I'm at a place called The Station. Here they have a classic Paul Bunyan style of muffler man, and he's holding a muffler. He was purchased in 2018 and bolted with steel poles to make sure he doesn't fall over from the high winds. He was decorated as a cowboy, complete with a cowboy hat. He was called the Mecca Cowboy before he moved, but now he's known as Big Josh. The station also thought it would be a good idea to have this selfie stand in case you were all by yourself and you wanted to take a fun pic with Big Josh. This muffler man is about 20 feet tall, so he's the same size as many other muffler men that I've visited. Here's a side view showing how he's attached in multiple places to a steel bar that's bolted to the ground. There's apparently a trucking company with the same name, Big Josh, and has a logo that looks similar to the face of this muffler man. The station has lots of quirky items for sale, and many items are made from local artists. So if the station is open, definitely check it out, but it wasn't open for me. It was good to see Big Josh though. Down the road is Art Queen, which is a small community of local artists that have set up small museums to show off their creations. This is a really great idea, and I wish they had places like this close to my home. Inside this area is the world-famous Crochet Museum. This small bright green building has hundreds of crocheted items. The building was previously one of those places they had in the 70s and 80s where people took undeveloped film from their cameras, and in a couple of days they would get a packet of their developed photos. Would you take a look at all these cute crochet creations? Everything is so adorable. How about I quit talking and you all can take a look at this great crochet collection? Every elf owns this collection, but none of them she stitched herself. In addition to the Crochet Museum, there are a number of small buildings with their own small museums, so this is a great place to visit. And now there's a line to see the Crochet Museum. My advice? Get here early. I'm about 5 miles north of town, in what looks like the middle of the desert. There's an interesting set of sculptures on a piece of private ranch land out here, and what exactly is a ranch in the middle of a desert? There's this pathway surrounded by fencing. That should get me a little closer to these sculptures. And the owners of the property are adamant that you stay inside this path. Okay, so I'm as close as I'm going to get. The sculptures consist of 4 hands with a hole in them and a head. This is called Transmission and was sculpted by Daniel Popper, a name I've heard before. The sculptures are 28 feet tall, and there are tiles on these sculptures that change color depending on how the sunlight hits them and the viewing angle. The sculptures are made with steel and concrete. The color is an off-white, slightly gray, slightly blue. There's a marker at the end of the pathway, but it's really hard to make out, so here's what it says. Conceived within the minds of owner Morgan Brown and artist Daniel Popper, she is a majestic 28 feet tall. Fully realized, she is, quote, concrete evidence that we are all divine, that we are all one. May we all transmute love, peace, and unity between ourselves, each other, and Mother Nature, and that is why she is here. This also mentions again no trespassing, since this is on private property. The name of the property is called Mojave Moon Ranch. Even though this is miles outside of town, it's pretty busy here. Artist Daniel Popper also created a sculpture called Thrive, located in downtown Fort Lauderdale. So please take a look at my video from that city. As for this video, let's stay in the middle of nowhere for my next stop. About 15 miles away from the city of 29 Palms, and I'm at the end of the world and I feel fine. Oh, you knew I was gonna say that. The tip is to park at the nearby restaurant and walk out to the sign, since the sand is very soft near the sign and your car will sink and you'll have to get it towed out. Artist Jack Pearson created this sign in 2022. The letters are stylized similar to the Hollywood sign, and the artist says this patch of desert, quote, is a place known for those who drop off the edge of civilization. And he's right, there is not very much out here except for the restaurant and the random house. I noticed some of the letters are leaning over, like the first T and the O in the word world. It could be the frequent earthquake activity is shifting the letters, so I don't think they're bolted into the ground, but just resting on the sand. Each of the letters is about 7 feet wide and 14 feet tall. They're made of plywood and were painted silver, so that explains the moisture stains, as I'm sure they do get some rain out here on occasion, even in the desert. Over there is the restaurant, where we parked, and the restaurant is closed. Take a look at the side view of the sign. It looks like some of the letters are not quite level and sloped forwards or backwards. Pretty cool. I've been to the end of the world. And I still feel fine. Anyway, let's head on to my next stop. And even at the end of the world, there are still cops patrolling the highways, unfortunately for that guy who got pulled over. That definitely sucks. So, make sure you don't speed out here. I've now arrived at Joshua Tree National Park, and I've been waiting about a half hour to go through the payment gantry. And I have a feeling I might have made a mistake, because I think a lot of people are here because it's a holiday week. But it looks like smooth sailing right now, but just a few Joshua trees here and there. I guess I was looking for large groves of Joshua trees. I'm at one of the pull-offs, and as you can see, the park is slammed. there are people everywhere. I don't even know if I'll get any good pictures, let alone video. This is the Split Rock Trail, and this is in fact a split rock. Lots of people are here getting their fun pics. This is about as good as I can get. This is the start of the trail, and I don't think any hiking is possible today. From what I understand, this trail is about a 2 to 2.5 mile loop trail with a number of interesting rock formations. I can see why this trail is so popular. It's also a beautiful day today. It's clear skies and about 70 degrees. Definitely a great day weather-wise. Alright, so I'm gonna head out and find a different section of the park. There is a nice overlook I'd like to see, so I think I'm gonna head that way. There's still far fewer Joshua trees than I expected, but maybe there will be more in some other areas of the park. I've now reached the Keys View Overlook, which is supposed to have an awesome view of the Coachella Valley. Now this is beautiful. The overlook is nearly a mile above sea level. Some of what I should be able to see are the Salton Sea, the Santa Rosa Mountain Range, and the San Andreas Fault. That may explain why I felt a tremor last night. The Coachella Valley is located along that fault line. There's the mountain range in the distance, and the Coachella Valley just below those mountains. On a clear day, you should be able to see Signal Mountain in Mexico, which is about 90 miles away, but I think there's too much haze, even though it looks clear. Lots of people are here also, but thankfully I found a parking space as someone was leaving. I'm also not getting a very good view of the Salton Sea, which is located not too far south of here, in that direction, so the haze has definitely settled in the valley. Here's a topographical map. So the San Andreas Fault runs between here and the Coachella Valley. Palm Springs is on the right side. Salton Sea is to the left side. And there's a view of the long line of cars waiting to reach the parking area. It is very busy here, busy everywhere in the park. I have to be honest, today was not a good day to visit Joshua Tree. I don't feel I'm giving this park a fair shot. And the reason is everyone in Southern California has decided to visit, because almost everyone is on vacation this week and the weather is fantastic. But it's just so busy here. Now heading back, and there are more Joshua trees, but still a lot less than the groves of trees I was expecting. Some other facts about Joshua Tree National Park: there is minimal light pollution at night, so this is a great place for stargazing. Here's another pull-off, and it took probably 15 minutes, and we parked in an illegal space, so I can get a quick pic right here, where they have a good concentration of boulders and trees. Here's what I've seen all over the places, probably dozens, maybe hundreds of cars parked on the side of the road, because all the parking areas are full, and the V been full probably all day. And there are people everywhere, so I have to be careful not to hit anybody. Yeah, I have to say this was not a good idea. Or what I should have done: come to Joshua Tree first, and then see the other places later in the day, basically reversing the route. But as our friend Adam the Woo says, it's all part of the experience. Now it's getting late in the day, and I'd like to go to one spot before they close at 5 p.m., so I'm going as fast as I can out of the park. And I haven't seen a single Joshua tree in several miles, so I guess the trees are in select areas. It's basically just barren land here. It's actually kind of boring, and I still have about 30 miles or so to the exit. Here's something to see. This is the Cholla Cactus Garden. At this time of year, the plants are dormant and appear to be burned at the base of the plants. There's a trail that goes through the cactus garden, but it's being rehabilitated for the next several months, and I'm trying not to disturb the plants at all. You can see all the burns these plants have. I'm not sure if that's normal for winter. Alright, let's move on. With maybe 30 minutes before the store closes, I'm at Shield's Date Garden. I've heard good things about their delicious date milkshakes. I've never had one before. Shield's Date Garden opened in 1924, over 100 years ago. Apparently, the Coachella Valley harvests the best dates on Earth. The date shakes at the time of filming cost $9.95, and most of the people here are ordering them, so they must be good. But they also sell many different kinds of dates, even some covered in nuts and caramel. You can get a couple of dates, or any size container, like a party platter of dates. And they also sell these big bags of date powder. That's interesting. They also sell dates in the form of a thick paste for baking. Lots of different kinds of dates, including a doughy date. Or maybe you can pick up one or more of these blonde dates. Shields sells other fruits and vegetables as well, like peanuts, cashews, sunflower seeds, pepitas, pistachios, and pumpkin seeds. Like other orchards and gardens, they sell various flavors of jams, jellies, sauces, syrups, mustard, and salad dressings. Also many jars of authentic Mrs. Shields pure honey. Since Shields is a tourist attraction, they sell shirts, hats, and other trinkets. Look at these giant lemons. They're almost the size of the grapefruits that are next to them. Alright, so I've gotten one of these world-famous shakes. I don't normally pay $10 for a milkshake, but this is a when in Rome moment. But I liked it. The first couple of sips, it tastes like chocolate, but then after that it tasted like a Larabar, which is made from dates. Shield's Date Garden also has a cafe that's up until 2 p.m. and a self-guided tour of their 17-acre garden where the delicious dates are harvested. They also have a tongue-in-cheek film that continuously plays in a small theater. It's called The Romance and Sex Life of the Date, which describes how Shields harvests their dates and explains why this area grows the best dates. This theater opened in 1951. So they've been showing the same film for 75 years. If I had more than 30 minutes, I might explore the gardens or watch that short film. The film is on YouTube though, so check it out there. I would definitely recommend getting a date shake at Shield's Date Garden, or if you like date nut bread, this would be a great place to get those dates. And will you look at the beautiful sunset? Now I'm back where I was earlier this morning, at the Forever Marilyn statue in Palm Springs. Most definitely a great place to get a nighttime fun pic with the 60s sex symbol. I had a really good day, with the exception of Joshua Tree National Park. It was just way too crowded there, maybe because it was a holiday week, but still just so many people and it wasn't a good experience. So I really wouldn't recommend going out of your way to visit. I'll let you reply in the comments if I didn't give Joshua Tree a fair shake. I'm not sure when I'll be back in the area. Before I leave, I wanted to give a temperature update. Around 7 p.m. in October, it was 103 degrees, but today, just 62.
And that's it. It was definitely a cooler day than it was back in October. The same as it was back in October is I'm leaving this area and headed towards San Diego. But you'll see that next time. And hopefully my voice will be better. And now I just need some ibuprofen. Thanks for watching. Bye!